Hi, and welcome back to Armchair Pundits. We've got an additional show this week for you based on the big news that erupted today at Liverpool. We've got two Liverpool fans on here, along with two Tottenham fans. I know everyone says there's some biased views on these podcasts, but you know what? The Liverpool fans are going to take a back seat. I'm going to get grilled on this one by the two Tottenham fans. We have just lost our cup game to City. But we'll take that up on our next show. But for now, let's talk about this big news. The big news, Jurgen Klopp is leaving Liverpool at the end of the season. So, James, Wale, as Liverpool fans, what's your feelings? We'll start off with the new debutant, Wale. Hit us with your feelings, bro.
Yeah,
big news.
It's stressful. I'll be honest with you. I'm a lot more calmer than I thought I would be. You know, I'm a lot more calmer than I thought I would be. I think because you know what it is. I remember going through this when, although I was a lot younger, when Kenny Dalglish went, and it was like panic stations. Like, how are we gonna cope? It was real panic stations then. And I don't feel the same level of panic. I think the team's in a good way. There's a lot of younger players. I feel like the evolution of the team has already started, but I don't know the direction it's going to go into. My first initial thought was, okay, well, Pep Lijnders will take over. Pep Lijnders is going. So who's going to carry on the evolution? Yes, I'm concerned in that. I'm not concerned about the players. I'm not concerned about us having the squad to be able to still compete, but I am concerned about the direction that we'll be heading into.
Okay, we'll talk about some of those things that you've touched on there as we go through. But James, let's get your first reaction, your feeling. You know, I heard earlier you told us it popped up on your phone. You thought it was a joke. What's your feelings, James? Because I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of Liverpool fans out there right now panicking. I'm seeing tears, I'm seeing distress, and we know what kind of guy you can be, James. So, like, go on. How are you feeling?
There's no tears, but like you said, it popped up on my phone when I was at work, and you often see these spoof accounts saying these nonsense stuff. So it said Klopp's leaving. I was like, whatever. Carried on working, and then my brother-in-law messaged me. He said, "What? Klopp's out?" I was like, "What?" I looked at my phone quickly, and I was like, "You're kidding me!" And because my phone was on silent, it was just, the groups were just pinging off. So saw the video, and my heart, I can't even lie, my heart sank. I was like, no way. Okay. Because you're not expecting it. I heard rumors like late December that he might be signing a new contract. So in my mind, I'm thinking we might be extending his contract. So I'm thinking of the new signings we're going to have in the summer. I'm thinking of the 4 trophies we're in for now, where we're going to go from there. Then to hear that, I was like, oh, man. So it was panic stations for a little while, and just trying to come to terms with it. And right, I still haven't, I'll be honest. I still haven't come to terms with it. I'm not devastated like I was earlier, because one manager doesn't make the team.
You got time to digest now, yeah?
Yeah, it doesn't make the team, but I was sitting there thinking, my daughter's been saying, oh, I like Arsenal a bit. I'm like, and I do not like Arsenal. But I'm like, no, we got Klopp. And now it's like, I had to come home and tell her, Nene, Klopp's leaving. So, yeah, no, I saw it on the tablet. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Don't worry. We'll be fine. So, we'll be fine. Don't worry. Because you can't be losing the young ones.
Comforting you.
Boy.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? For real.
Yeah, so, no.
So, Leon, as an independent fan here, how do you take the news? Because obviously it has impact in terms of the league, and obviously it's one of the top 2 clubs realistically if we're talking about it. How do you feel? What do you think about the news? Do you have a thought process on it?
To be honest with you, I wasn't that surprised to hear it. I know that will sound kind of strange because obviously Klopp has been a mainstay at Liverpool for 9 years now, or almost 9 years. But to me, you could sense that it's a tough job managing Liverpool. It's a tough job being a manager of a Premier League team or being a manager of any team, as I'm sure you can testify, Daryl and James, to be honest. But he's had a tough job to do. He's done a really, really good job, but it's stressful. And you kind of felt the same thing happen with Dortmund. Like, he kind of burnt out, and you can see like his frustrations at certain times, especially with things like VAR, the fixture congestion. And, when I heard and saw the video of what he was saying, about how last season he felt like he could have gone, but Liverpool didn't want to sack him, or they, convinced him to stay. You could sense that, he felt himself that he may have been waning. And when he's looking ahead and planning ahead, and he's thinking, I really don't want to have to deal with looking ahead to pre-season and traveling and all of that stuff again. Like, I can totally understand why he decided to take a break. And you saw it happen with Pep. When Pep was in charge of Barcelona, he needed to take a break. When he was at Bayern, he took a break before going to City. So being a top level manager and having to win things, all of them have needed a break of some kind at some point in time. And I think it's good that he had told Liverpool hierarchy before now, because I think he told them in November. So they've had time to start thinking about what they want to do next, which is good. And it means that they can succession plan a little bit. The strangest thing I felt was that the whole backroom staff is pretty much like his whole team is leaving. That's the bit that surprised me, because
I'm not gonna lie, like James and Wale, I thought that's cool. Klopp's going, but the number 2 is going to step up, and they'll be calm. And then obviously shortly after, it then released that the whole
they're all going
coaching team
even
the
pathways manager. Even the pathways manager that's got the link
it's,
between the under 21s and the first team. Like, why is he going? Oh man, it's mad. A lot.
But yeah, if it wasn't for Liverpool, if it wasn't for Klopp and Liverpool, like, Man City would have just had a stroll for the last 5-6 years, because they're the only team that's really pushed them all the way pretty much every season, barring 1 or 2. So for me, it's obviously sad for Liverpool. Pep's probably not too unhappy about it, because he's one of his main rivals is going to be going. But I think Liverpool have got a good enough team and a young enough team, as Wale said, to continue. It's just a case of bringing in the right man and being able to impose their own philosophy on the team now going forward.
Okay, well, before we start talking about the succession and the plan going forward, Wale, what impact do you feel Klopp had on Liverpool, and why are yourself, James, and other fans so distraught by this? Like, because obviously he brought around a big change to the club, but what kind of impact do you feel he had on the team, and what does this mean, for you lot going forward?
Do you know, it's a bit cliched that he talked about he made us turn from doubters to believers, but that's exactly what he did. When he first got to the club, I think the feeling was we needed a change. If you can remember, when Brendan Rodgers got the sack, the season before that, he could have got the sack, especially after the last game. And if you remember, the last game of that season was a 6-1 defeat to Stoke. Like, it's unthinkable that could happen under Klopp right now. But we're at the 7-2 Aston Villa game. But it's unthinkable that sort of performance would happen under a Jurgen Klopp team with his best players available. But what's really mad about it is that to see that team that Brendan Rodgers left, then in 2 finals, you thought, oh, something's happening. We're getting little shoots of spring coming through. But then when you started to see how the team was developing, when he brought in Mane, okay, Mane looks like he's playing well. Then he brought in Salah. Then he brought in Virgil. Then he brought in Alisson. And then you just saw the whole team changing. And it's really saying a lot when you could, for argument's sake, and I'm not saying we do have the best, but you could argue Liverpool have got the best keeper in the world. You could argue Liverpool have got the best centre-back in the world. You could argue Liverpool have got the best right winger in the world. You could argue these points, but really, would they have all manifested and grown in the way they grew unless it was under this manager? And I think that's the thing that is going to be a key loss we're going to have, is that he has been a difference maker. He's been at least 15 to 25% of whatever we've done has come from the changes and things he's done. Just even looking at this season, I think this season is probably testament to it. The substitutions he's made have influenced, I think they said, about 30 or so old goals this season, which is mad. But that's changes the manager has made, and that's the influence he has on the players, on the fans. It can't be underestimated. The last manager I felt like we had as a world-class manager was Rafa. But even under Rafa, you still felt, well, he can come a bit short. I've never felt under Klopp like, you know what, this team can't do it. If anything, whether it be the league, whether it be the Champions League, he fills their team with that belief and the fans with that belief. That's going to be very difficult to replicate. So I think the effect he's had on Liverpool is he's turned Liverpool from being a sleeping giant into a world giant. How they're going to continue with him going, yeah, that's going to be very interesting to see.
That's a good point. He did remove that element of doubt that even under Rafa, when you had that period of success, there was always doubts now and again. Under Klopp, Liverpool haven't had that. We've seen it even more so this season, as James has said. Even though James, you'd admit sometimes you like to throw the doubt one in there yourself. You know,
everyone does. Everyone does.
Swear it's pretend anyway. I lie, Leon. We know you just say it to just be devil's advocate. Come on. So what do you feel, James? Like, obviously the impact he's had on Liverpool for you, bringing back success, glory. What do you think that you're going to miss from what he brought to Liverpool?
Miss-wise, what am I going to miss? Just the person that he is as well. It's not just the what he brings as a manager. It's what he's brought, his character that he's brought to the team. There's an honesty to our football.
And the fans. And the fans.
The connection he's had with the fans is whoever replaces him, that's what they have to try and bridge the gap from. Because you can bring in a quality manager, but what he's brought with his personality has made us what we are. Like the whole mentality monsters, that's not just because we're really good at coming back. It's because he's instilled it into us. You see it on the sideline. You see it through how he's brought through youngsters. You see how he's turned players from quality players into world-class players. That Wale is listed. The players that he's listed are world-class players. And it's players that have gone, like Mane, that was a world-class player. So then you look at it and you say to yourself...
And he's not the same since moving on.
No, he's not. And there's some people who... no, it's what the fans are also saying. Fans are happy. Don't get it twisted. There's people who right now, they're happy because they know what we're losing. And they know that... It's hard, man. They know that it may not be the same. And we as fans know it may not be the same. And he said it from the beginning, turn doubters into believers. It was the first thing he said. He achieved that. He said, I will win the Premier League within 4 years. He achieved that. He said, when I leave here, I'll leave here with the club in a better situation than it is when I came here. And he's going to achieve that. So world-class greatness, he's just added that to Liverpool Football Club. And where we're in the doldrums, where some people would laugh at us if we won a title in 30 years or whatever, we became feared. And there may be people saying that we weren't, but let's be honest, we were. People didn't want to play Liverpool. People didn't want to play Klopp's Liverpool. And on top of that, the records he's held for us, not losing home games. Our home record is just ridiculous. And that's just through him. So it's going to, like what I said, whatever comes next, it's going to be hard for all of us. I think I've said to you guys, I feel that come the start of the next season, we're behind the 8 ball. Like as good as he set us, as good as he set us up as. We'll get onto that later. Go on. We'll get onto that later.
We'll get to that in a minute. We'll get to that. Leon, from an outsider, Klopp's effect on Liverpool and his effect on, like you said, you mentioned about the Premier League and the fact that Liverpool challenged City and kept City honest. What do you feel that he brought to the Premier League? We knew how good he was from when he was at Dortmund, but what did he do at Liverpool, and what does this mean for the Premier League going forward and the strength of Liverpool? What do you think?
For me, I think he proved that you don't necessarily have to have bag loads of money to be successful, because Liverpool's model was a lot different in comparison to the Chelseas and the Man Cities of the world, PSGs. You know, he had to come in and he had a different remit, and he alluded to that in his press conference where he was saying, he obviously got angry at times when he didn't get certain things in terms of transfer funds and whatnot. But Liverpool are operating in a sustainable model, and he's brought them further than they had ever been in the Premier League era. They've only had periods where they've challenged for the title, but he managed to take them over the line. People can throw a stick at them about it being during the COVID, but most of the season wasn't under COVID. They won the league legitimately, just like anyone else that won a trophy during that time. It's just the way the world was at the time. So you got to give him credit. He brought rock and roll football to Liverpool. He endeared himself to the fans by there was times where he challenged the fans, but there's also times where he made the players show appreciation, especially when the fans had come through for them in tough times or in difficult games. So to me, he's had a brilliant effect on the Premier League. It's been a great advert for the Premier League. Liverpool have been one of the best teams to watch since he's been there. And it is a shame that he's going, but all good things come to an end, and it's going to be time for someone else to come in. And as you said, we'll move on to who's next and who possibly could come in. But I think he's definitely left a mark on the Premier League, and I don't think, as I said, I don't think Pep will be too unhappy that he's going to be gone. To be honest,
definitely not.
Well, I will say definitely he did bring back the Kop and the strength of the Kop, because he brought those fans back together, and again, Anfield became a fortress for Liverpool, as James said about the records and stuff. But on big nights in Europe, it was unbelievable. And obviously, he had that at Dortmund, and he just took it up to the next level when he came here, and he got the whole fan base behind. So, yeah, definitely, there's going to be impact from him leaving. But as you said, we'll talk about potential. Who's going to come in? Who do you want in? What kind of manager you think you possibly need? And do you think this is part of the reason why it's happened now and this information has come out now? Do you think they're looking at someone, or they've got plans, or they're setting the stones to say, look, the position's open? Wale, what do you think?
So I remember it must have been about 2 years ago now, in one of the groups I was in, we was talking about if Klopp was to go, not that anybody wanted Klopp to go, but if Klopp was to go, who would we be after? At the time, I said Nagelsmann, the Germany manager now, I think it is now. I said him. I said Tuchel, and I said at the time he was playing all right football at Leeds, was Jesse Marsch. Right now, I can't even say to you a manager that I want. It's different to when Brendan Rodgers got the sack, because the vacancies, the people that was out of a job at the time was Carlo Ancelotti, Jurgen Klopp. I think Carlo was out of a job at the time. And it was very much a case of, they're available, isn't it? There's world-class availability there. Right now, because of the standards of how high Klopp has set himself, you can't even say, okay, get a top-tier manager of his ilk. He's probably... I think there was a stat that I saw somewhere where it said that the highest ever, I think it's the highest win percentage or the highest amount of points or something in the Premier League era. He's in third place. You've got Fergie, then you've got Pep, then you've got him. It might be win percentage. I'll have to get the particular stat of what it was.
I've got it actually.
Replicate that by getting a manager. Yeah. Yeah. Was it the win percentage or was it the
Guardiola's 2.33?
Is it win percentage or points?
Points per game, Guardiola's 2.33, Ferguson 2.16, and Klopp is 2.11.
And that's over the whole Premier League area, you know? We're not talking like about over a short period of time. Over the whole era. Think of the managers that have been in the Premier League over that time. And he, in that period of time, has done that. You're not replicating that by getting anybody in. Even if we got in everyone's talking about Xabi Alonso, and I think he would be good for stylistically playing football. But I look at it like Brendan Rodgers, for me, came to Liverpool too early. I would worry Alonso will be coming to us too early in his managerial growth. Graham Souness, when he came to Liverpool, came too early because he hadn't had that experience. He'd done Rangers, but he came to Liverpool, tried to implement so much, but didn't have the experience to be able to then manifest that. I can't think of a manager out there right now who can replicate or even replace Klopp on that level. So it's going to end up being, no matter what it is, it's going to be a downward step. And we're going to go through likely a period of pain of just being challenging now, being like, with all due respect, falling into the position of like a Tottenham, where you're going to be around the top four, but you're challenging, but you're not. No shade being thrown here. You're not the team that City would say these are our closest rivals, but you're in that clutch of teams that can challenge for the title. Do you understand what I mean? So City could say right now, Arsenal, Newcastle, Tottenham, even to a degree Villa, those are the teams that you would say, you know what, they're in a clutch of teams who could fight us for the title. But only Liverpool have consistently done that over that period of time. And that's where I think we're going to drop down into the fight for second down to fifth, as opposed to the fight from top to second or third at the worst. And I think that's what's going to be the case in the next couple of years if we don't get it right with the appointment and keep hold of the star players whose contracts, I'm sure, was also tied to the fact of, you know what, the manager's here, so everything is settled. The manager's gone now. So you've got a couple players, Van Dijk, Salah, Trent, key components, Alisson, whose contracts will run out in about 2 years' time. Are they going to sign for someone who they're going to be on a learning thing with? So many questions to answer.
At key points of their careers as well, when they're probably looking at their final contracts as well. That's going to be quite interesting.
I mean,
so, but if I had to push you,
not to labor the point.
Go on.
I was looking at. Sorry, I was going to say just really quickly. Looking at what happened, I liken this to when Sir Alex Ferguson left Man United, and there was a lot of big name players who won trophies.
I'm going to hold you on that one because that's a bit of my theory on that one. So we'll come back to that one. If I had to push you now for a name, then who would you accept as your number one at the moment? If I had to push you and say who you need to get someone in place in the summer to be ready for the season, who would it be?
Ideally, I'd like Ancelotti, but realistically, I think the only person who realistically we're likely to get is Xabi Alonso. And the problem with it as well, any big name coming in, if you do get an Ancelotti or I'm not even going to say Mourinho, but a Mourinho or whatever, they're expecting funds of a certain way. The problem is Liverpool don't operate that way. We don't throw money like how Man United or Chelsea or Man City do. So you have to be really cute with how you manage your funds and manage the team. Klopp was the perfect fit for Liverpool. FSG was the perfect fit for Klopp. I don't know how they're going to replicate that, whoever comes in next.
Okay. James? Who's in your... Because, you know, we know how you like... You have a flood of midfielders that you always want to line up. What's your lineup for managers? Come on, you've got to at least have 5, just like you do with the midfielders. Come on.
I've looked through, and Alonso, similar to as Wale said, my worry is it too early? He's been in the job for 15 months as a manager. Does he really want to? Because he's openly said he wants to manage Liverpool. So does he really want to take the chance this early, mess it up, and then not do it again? So he's an option for me.
The chance is there, James, and supposedly it's in his contract that if the opportunity comes,
that he
can go. So the chance is there. Is he going to turn down that chance?
He might do, but we might not go for him because I looked at it. Nagelsmann is another one. As Leon mentioned to me this morning, that his contract runs out in July. So there's no compensation. You just take him. So it's someone who's won 2 Bundesligas. So he's been a winner, and we need someone that's won. Alonso hasn't won anything yet. As good as the footballer he's playing is now, he hasn't actually tasted winning as a manager. He hasn't tasted being in the struggles. Yes, when he got there, they were relegation bound, and he overcame that. But he hasn't done it over a period of time. Nagelsmann has done his apprenticeship over time, but De Zerbi is another one. The football he plays attracts me to him. The way he's been spoken about, his work ethic, the way he works with players and improves players. That's what we need as well. Someone who improves players. Hansi Flick is one that's out there. People have forgotten what he did at Bayern Munich. Yes, his spell at Germany wasn't good, but everyone's built for managing international. Some people are built for the day-to-day. And he's potentially someone...
I think Flick is a really good shout.
He's someone that could come in and move us on. Again, another winner. We need a winner. And the last person...
And plays the right type of football.
Yeah, he plays good football. Thiago might even come out of hibernation and play another season for us, which I doubt very much. And there's a lot of Liverpool fans that want him gone. Not another year. But the last person who, because he's a winner, he's an option, but I don't think it's a real viable option, but Zidane. The drawbacks I have with him, I'm pretty sure he said he doesn't want to manage in England, number one. He doesn't speak English, number two. But we're such a big club, historic club, and where Klopp is leaving us in a good situation, it might be something that he may want to try his hand at. But Flick came to me later on, and I think out of all of them, he's probably someone who I think, you know what, if they sign, I want to be like, what? Not him. I'd be like, you know what, I can live with that. I can live with that. Whether the players will have the same respect, they should do, because, like I said, his record, I think I had it down here. His win percentage for Bayern was, I think, 83% win rate.
Wow.
Whereas at Bayern, yes, Bayern is easy to win at, but the only person that had a better win rate for Bayern was the great Pep. So it's not a poor choice. I think he lost 7 games while he was there at Bayern, and I don't know. He's a good option for me. The goal scoring, the football, it's all there. He plays attacking football. So for me, for top 3, it'll be Flick, it'll be Alonso, and it will be De Zerbi. I think I have De Zerbi ahead of Nagelsmann. Even though Nagelsmann's won and De Zerbi hasn't, De Zerbi has shown me in the Premier League that he can actually handle the Premier League. There's no new introduction.
Okay, Leon. Who would you fear Liverpool getting that would keep them on that par with City, keep them in that top 2 challenge? Like, who would you fear as a neutral fan if they went out and got?
I wouldn't say fear, but I think it's more who do I think will be able to allow them to continue what Klopp has built so far.
I like that talk. No fear.
No, definitely not. I mean, we've seen what Liverpool have been with Klopp already. They've been relentless, and after a while, players get burnt out. So he's had to alter things slightly to make their I guess their style of play a little bit more sustainable. But to me, Hansi Flick I think he would be the closest to what Liverpool already do, because he's a manager that likes to play high pressing attacking football. which is currently how Liverpool play. And you saw what he did with Bayern when they won a treble. He played a very, very progressive attacking game, and the pressing style, they were relentless, and they were a very difficult team to beat under his stewardship. I think the Zidane one was someone I mentioned to James before, but as we said before, he's ruled himself out of jobs previously because of his lack of English. And the only thing is, we haven't heard anything from Zidane for a little while. There was obviously talk of, Saudi clubs trying to get him, but he didn't accept anything that way. So you never know whether he's taking lessons or whether he has that drive to learn English to become a manager. But if they did, could be a little segue to get Mr. Kylian Mbappe, who's a free agent in the summer as well.
True.
So if they were managed to do that package, I think that would be pretty scary. If they managed to get a Zidane Mbappe double deal in the summer, that would be pretty formidable. But no, I think Hansi Flick is probably the best option from a continuity perspective.
Okay, that would be fair to me if they got Zidane and got Mbappe. That would be fair, I have to say, because that would be peak. But like you guys said, for me personally, I hear what you're saying in terms of views, especially James, in terms of being ready. Same as Wale said about the timing of it and who's ready to step in now and fill that role. Like you said, Hansi Flick seems like the logical answer. De Zerbi, I'm not sure, because will he have that same fan euphoria that Klopp can bring? He can be a bit standoffish sometimes, Yeah, hey, no one will.
No one will, bro. No one will.
But Alonso, I know you're saying it's too early, but he's playing some great football and he does know Liverpool and he does have a space in his heart for Liverpool. So for me, that would be a smart choice. It's all about progressive football now. You can use Tottenham as an example. Many Tottenham fans didn't know who Ange Postecoglou was before he turned up, and they're falling in love with him because of the style of football that he plays. And if Alonso comes, shows that love for the club, which Klopp's got, because he's been there, he's done it, he understands it. For me, that would be the smart one in my opinion. But we'll go on to what Wale was about to diverge, and it's a bit of my theory as well, because we're gonna have to think about why has this decision come and why has it come now at this time of the season. Now, Wale, you was about to say you liken it to the Ferguson leaving United. I said to my colleagues earlier at work, I said, this is just like when Ferguson left in his last season. They said it around about the same time. I think it was just after Christmas into the new year. Ferguson came out and said he's leaving at the end of the season. And I can tell you now, that gave United a push, because that United team was rubbish. They should have never won the league that season. But I tell you what, those players came out and repped for him, and he pushed them over the line. Fergie's decision to do that and rally the troops, give me that one last trophy, give me your everything till the end of the season, because this is it. I want to sign out on a high. It worked for United. That and Michael Carrick that season was amazing as well. I feel like it's the same kind of flex from Klopp here. So is that where you was going with that, Wale?
Yeah, you know what? It's I'm touching wood and hoping that the same way that Fergie got to 20 titles for United in his final season, then Klopp will get to take 20 titles in his final season with us. But my thoughts and concerns with it though was more what's going to happen after he's gone. Like when Fergie went and Moyes came in, they looked at the next manager like, okay, you're trying to teach us all this stuff. I think there's a big thing. I remember Rio Ferdinand was talking about how he was being taught how to defend by Moyes, and Moyes was telling him to look at, forget the Everton defender he said. But whoever comes in has got to have that same gravitas. You're not talking. It's not like when Mourinho went Chelsea, and he was talking to players who are good but hadn't won. This is a team that's won everything. If you're coming in there, you've got to have that that respect and pull that respect from the players to say, I'm a winner. So I think this season, the effect it's going to have for the players this season, it's going to want to make them ensure they make the manager leave with a trophy. Some of those players, like let's take Nunes, Diaz, they're young in their career at Liverpool. Even Jota hasn't won loads at Liverpool. He hasn't had a league title at Liverpool, Champions League at Liverpool. So he will want to ensure he gets that before Klopp goes, because he might think this is his best chance to do it. I think for this season, the effect it's going to have is going to galvanize them, and they're going to be relentless. They're going to be there's a drive, there's a target they want. We're not just doing it for us, we're doing it for the boss. Let's make sure we give him that league title. They're going to be relentless with it, I feel now. And because City have been, they've not been hit and miss, but they haven't been the same relentless City that we've seen. They're going to see this as a window of opportunity. And I think that they're going to go hell for leather to ensure they get the league title. They'll want to win the other trophies. The league title now is a big priority for them. I don't think they're going to come out and say it, but I'm sure that will be what they will be driven to do this season, definitely. So let's see. Let's see what they do.
What's your thoughts, James? Timing, positive or not?
The timing surprised me. The timing made me think that the manager who we want, someone's possibly speaking to him, and his agents said, "Listen, there's other people interested, so you need to get moving now." Okay. But at the same time, it's a bit weird because if it's Alonso, the only other option is Real Madrid, and Ancelotti's already signed up. If it's De Zerbi, if it's Nagelsmann, it could be him because his contract's running out, and Hansi Flick is a free contract. But I don't know. I agree that it could be a push. It could push the players to want to win it all for him. And I'm hoping that that's what transpires. That they will see it as this is our last hurrah with this guy that's given us everything. To some of these players, he's like a father figure to them. So really hoping that that's the impact it has. We've got the final coming up in a month's time. And I think we'll know from then. We'll know, probably not even that. We'll probably know from the Chelsea game. From the Chelsea game, we'll probably know where their heads are, because that's a massive game. We've drawn with Chelsea 4 times in a row, and it's never been convincing when we played against them. So looking forward to those 2 games will probably let us know where they are and how much they want it, especially with Salah out. So, yeah. It's strange timing, and let's just hope it works out for the best for us.
Okay, Leon?
Oh, and also, sorry, De Zerbi wise, sorry, the last thing, De Zerbi would be expensive. When I look at how much it cost for Chelsea to get Potter out, I can't imagine Brighton trying to go for anything less than they asked for Potter. Yes, Potter was mid-season, so it makes it a bit different. But I can still imagine the trajectory they're on. They're going to want a lot of money, and we all know that FSG don't like to spend a lot of money. But yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Leon.
Yeah, so Leon, what do you think about the timing? And do you think it will impact Liverpool positively or negatively? And will it inspire other clubs? Will it inspire City, or maybe City take their foot off the gas, really thinking about next season without Klopp?
I don't think so. I don't think it's really going to affect anyone else apart from the Liverpool players. I mean, this is different to the Ferguson one because I don't think it was made known to the players until later on in the season, because I think it went public after that. But for Liverpool, I think the main reason they've leaked it now, or not leaked it now, they've announced it now, is because they're worried about leaks. If they knew that Klopp was going and his staff was going, once you start having to talk to multiple people to get plans in place, because that's obviously what they need to do. They need to think about succession planning. Agents have motor mouths already. They're looking to get the highest fee for whoever their client is. So I think it was just too difficult for them to make their moves without things being leaked. So it was always better for them to come clean and just let them know what's going on. As a player, to me, you're paid to do your job. Your job is to win football matches. Liverpool's objective at the beginning of the season was to win as many trophies as they can, and that hasn't changed. So the players will obviously be thinking about the future, but they still got 4 competitions that they're in that they can win a trophy in, just like they've had in the past. So for me, it shouldn't make any difference. They should be thinking about trying to win now whilst he's here, because you really don't know what can happen down the road. So get your wins while you can and try to give Klopp the best send-off they can.
So then we kind of all say it might have been a master plan, a smart move by Liverpool and FSG. All right, before we wrap up, let's just touch on a couple of the rumours. There's rumours are that Klopp's tired, and it's too much of a toll on him with the Premier League and up against Pep all the time, and that he's going to go and cash out and get some money in Saudi Arabia. There's rumours of him potentially being tapped up by Barcelona. There's rumours are that FSG have caused this by the non-committal to transfer spends, and maybe they've got a different plan in mind, and Klopp's got frustrated with that. I will let the Liverpool fans talk about this. Wale, any of these rumours have any strength to them?
Not for me, no. Well, I think he is tired. I said at the start, I likened it to when Kenny Dalglish left Liverpool, and the reason why I think that more resonates is I remember that was literally about 2 years or so after Hillsborough, but he'd had the whole of Hillsborough, the funerals, and he'd had the whole of that season was mad, that season where we didn't win the league, but we won the FA Cup, but we had to play so many games so cramped up. And there were so many wins we got in that put us in the position to win the league that season, even though we didn't. The following season, we win the league. The next season, I think we come second, and that's when he was quitting. That's when he quit. He was under immense pressure, and he'd been the key player at Celtic, then the key player at Liverpool, then the manager at Liverpool, then Hillsborough happened, and then he's had all these pressures to deal with. He needed a break. If you look at Klopp's trajectory, it's quite similar. He had a very high pressurized job at Borussia Dortmund, took a sabbatical from there because of the pressures and everything there, came to Liverpool, and it's been full on since. Then you add in the fact of the COVID season, then you add in the fact that his mum died during the COVID season, the season after we won the league, and he couldn't get to do the funerals and stuff. Then the next season, we're in the quadruple hunt, and it's all the pressures there. The next season, it's the season where we come 5th. Then the next season, we find ourselves where we are now. This is all really pressurized situations. And when I replay back in my mind things that he said, I remember he said something, when he signed his new contract, he was specific in saying, he spoke to his wife and said, "Oh, what do you feel about staying?" And she was like, "You know what? Let's stay another 2 years or whatever." I feel like the pressures he's having of the job, added to how it affects his family life. He always makes reference to his children and his family life and how he don't really want to be managing for years. I think he said it prior to the Palace game. He was talking about Roy Hodgson's 70th year or however many years he's been managing. I can't see myself doing that. That's only a couple of weeks ago. So he would have known at that point he's quitting. And he hasn't said he's quitting to go to another club. He said he's even talked about he may not even come back to football. So that's a lot you're giving away there. So I don't think it's all to do with the pressures of FSG. I think that might have played a part. Maybe it hasn't. Maybe it has. Who knows? But I think he's been quite open with it as to what his reasons are as to why he's going. And one last thing that I think may have played a part. Something is happening at Liverpool where people are leaving. Michael Edwards left a couple of years ago. The guy that came in after him, I've forgotten his name now, is it Julian Wall? So he was there for a short period of time. He left straight after that. This director of football has been there for a short period of time. He's leaving now. The backroom staff are leaving. The doctor left. The fitness people left. A lot of people have been leaving the club. And I don't know if that is from the top down something is happening, or if it's to do with the management structure, as in from Klopp down, something's happening. But for Klopp and the whole team to move, I think there is something. Just can't put my finger onto what it is, though.
Okay, James. You talked about double deals with Mbappe and Zidane. Saudi double deal. Salah, Klopp, going one team. Barcelona. Any truth in that? Like, come on. What do you think?
No, not at all. If you know Klopp's personality, he wouldn't do the whole Saudi thing. That's not him. Going to Saudi and making all that money, that's not him. The whole because of his Christian beliefs as well, as part of it. I don't think obviously everyone says money talks, but I just don't see that being a situation with him. He's also, how much you believe in it. He's also said he'll never manage in a country where he can't speak the language naturally. So that kind of limits him to England and Germany. Because as far as I'm aware, he doesn't speak Spanish, doesn't speak French. So, like Wale said, and like Klopp said himself, I think it's just been complete tiredness. He went from, if you go back to where Wale said, he went from being a player to a player manager, then going through that from there to Dortmund, and then on his sabbatical, after 3 months, Liverpool called. So he didn't even have a proper sabbatical. He only just got his feet wet. And then he comes to Liverpool. This was the year he originally supposed to, if you remember, this is the year his contract was supposed to run out. And as Wale said as well, Ule said, stay on. What else are you going to do? So he did. And I think that was also part of the desire. You looked at it, we failed in our quadruple challenge, and we failed literally on the last kick, the last moments of everything. So he's thinking, I can go again. And I think last year took a big toll on him. He said it himself in the interview that the club were never going to sack him. The club wouldn't sack him. The way we played last year, many a manager would have got sacked, but they were never going to do that. And with his energy waning, he believes that we deserve, or the club deserves, more than 50%, and he can't give us more than 50%. So he believes he's doing the right thing. It sucks for all of us because we were all looking forward to what was coming next. Yeah. But the stuff about FSG, that probably adds to it. When you're battling a juggernaut like Man City, and you're juggling that with one arm tied behind your back, you have to sell this player to get that player, or you can't compete. And you're looking at this guy is buying four fullbacks for 50 million each, and he's having to grind with what he's been given. That can take a toll on you. So for me, I think he's going to take the year out. He has said that he may not come back, but I think he will. And I can just see him going back to Germany and another project, a Leipzig or a Stuttgart or something like that, where he can get his teeth into. And I don't think he's got any more than 10 years left, because he said he's not going to go old like Fergie and all the rest of them. So maybe 10 years left, manage Germany, manage a Leipzig or a Stuttgart or Hoffenheim or something like that. Or even a Bayern. But I just can't see him doing a Bayern. I don't know. I can't see him doing it. But I don't think there's conspiracy behind it. Have FSG played a part? Yeah, they have, because he hasn't been able to compete on a level playing field. But he's always said he's accepted that. He's known that from the day he walked through the door, that's how it's going to be. So I know Jose Enrique said he's certain that there's more to it, and Klopp name-checked him and said, no, it's not.
Yeah,
I can tell you for a fact it's not.
Yeah, he shut that down. But he's gonna shut that down, basically, based on the fact that he's still at the club.
Yeah. But he doesn't have to. Realistically, he doesn't. But he doesn't have to, though. He could have left it alone. And a lot of people will say, yeah, it's all talk, he'll never manage another English team. I genuinely don't think he will. I think the bond he's got with the club is that strong, and he doesn't need to work. That he's not going to come back to England. I just don't think he will. If he does, he does. End of the day, every man is free to make their own decisions. But I just don't see it happening.
Could he ever come back to Liverpool?
Listen, I think I said it to Wale before. Even last year, I was hoping he was going to take a sabbatical. I would have been happy for him to say, you know what, Liverpool, I need a year off.
Yeah.
We get someone in for 1 year, and he comes back. I would not have a single complaint because I want Klopp to stay, be recharged for a year, come back with your coaching staff, and just re-up. If he did that, I would be so happy because I still think there's more that he can get out of this team. Right, that could just be me holding on.
I don't think
to the final. He won't do it. But that's just me being selfish.
Yeah,
you never know. If he loves the club enough and it doesn't work out, and the next managerial appointment doesn't go the way that you lot planned it, he might come back and have to save the day and get re-energized and find that love and that passion again after being away from it for a little period of time. So you never know, it could happen, but we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen for the rest of the season.
I remember Dalglish said the same thing. Dalglish was saying that he wanted to have, if Liverpool had said to him, you could have a year sabbatical and come back, he'd have done that. He just needed a break. But this sounds a bit different. Like he's even gone as far as to say, you know what, he might even not come back to football. Like not to say that he wants to have he's not even come back to football at all. That's some definitive talk he's saying there, and he's closed. If you look at it, he's closed a lot of doors in what he said. Not come back to England, taken a year off. I feel like there's a bit of maybe his family have also said to him, you know what, you need to take a break. Because if you look at Klopp now, to the Klopp that came in the door, visually he's aged a lot. A lot.
And that's most managers.
Yeah,
you know most managers don't
the
same,
Premier League will do that
but he, that's what I'm saying. And I feel like he's feeling it and he's thinking, you know what? I need to stop and slow down before I'm forced to stop and slow down. So I don't know if I don't see him coming back to Liverpool. Once he seems to be a man of his convictions, if he says he's going right, he's going right. And you're not telling him he's going to go left. He's going where he's going. And I don't think he will come back.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens. There's obviously still a lot to play for this season for Liverpool. I personally feel this is like some of you have agreed already. It's going to galvanise the team. They're going to give that extra push, that extra battle and grind, and that fight for the titles, cups. You've got a chance to win everything still at the moment, so they're gonna give their all to that. We'll see what happens. City, Klopp, I don't know what Klopp's mentality is like. City and Pep, I don't know what Pep's mentality is like. Maybe he goes down and tells his boys, all right, send this man off with nothing. Maybe he does that, we don't know. But there's still a lot to play for, there's still a lot to be positive for. He's done a great job at Liverpool up until this point. The story isn't finished yet. There's still the final part, the final chapter, shall we say, this season. We'll see what happens, and we'll address it again at the end of the season and see how he's done and move on to whoever's next. But thank you all for watching along. If you're Liverpool fans, if you agree with the guys that have been on the show, post your comments in the chat below and make sure you like, subscribe, stay tuned. We'll be back for another show again, hopefully this weekend. And yeah, enjoy. Thank you for being here and see you soon. This is Armchair Pundits. Catch you later.
Peace out.
Take care, guys.
Later.